Today we are going to start with online classes in biology. Now we are going to learn lesson plant anatomy and plant physiology. Before getting into the lesson, let us recall from our previous knowledge how plants are organized. We have already learned different levels of organization. First, atoms are organized to form molecules. Molecules are organized to form organelles. Organelles are organized to form cells. Cells organized to form tissue. Tissues group together to form the organ. The first account of internal structure of plants was first studied and published by an English physician, Nehemiah Group. He is known as father of plant anatomy. Now, what are tissues? Tissues are a group of cells with similar or dissimilar structure and origin but perform similar function. Plant tissues are broadly classified into meristematic and permanent tissue. What are meristematic tissues? Meristematic tissues are made up of undifferentiated cells which are capable of dividing. They divide and produce many new cells, whereas permanent cells are already mature, differentiated into a particular type of cells. They perform particular functions.
We are going to learn the meaning of anatomy and physiology. Anatomy is derived from Greek. Ana is as under, temnian is to cut. So anatomy is cutting the body of the organism into thin slices and studying the internal structure of it. What is physiology? Physiology is studying the functions of different structures. Sack in 1875 classified plant tissue system into three. First one is dermal or epidermal. It consists of epidermis and periderm. Epidermis is the outermost layer. Inside that you will have the periderm. In the mature and the olden trees, epidermis, if it gets worn out, periderm will become the outermost layer. What is the function of epidermis or dermal system? It protects the internal structure of the plant and also prevents water loss. The second plant tissue system is ground tissue system. It consists of parenchyma cells, collenchyma cells, sclerenchyma cells. What are the functions of these cells? They are engaged in photosynthesis when they contain chloroplast. They also help in storing the food and regeneration, support and protection. Third tissue system is vascular tissue system. It consists of xylem and phloem. Xylem helps in the transportation of water and minerals from the root to every different part of the plant, and phloem helps in the conduction of food from the leaves to other parts of the plant. Sacs three types of tissue system. The first one is dermal system. It consists of epidermis, stomata and epidermal outgrowth. Epidermis is the outermost layer of the plant and it consists of certain tiny pores which are called as stomata. We have already learned about the stomatal structure in our previous classes. Then we will have epidermal outgrowth. It consists of trichomes and root hair. So root hairs are helpful in absorbing the water from the soil. Cuticle is present on the outer surface of the epidermis. This is the epidermis and cuticle will be present over the epidermis. This will check the transpiration because of the sun's heat. Now let us see the functions of dermal system. Epidermis helps in the protection of the internal structure. Stomata helps in the transpiration and exchange of gases during respiration. Root hairs help in the absorption of water and mineral salts. The second tissue system is ground tissue system. It is present in the body of the plant. When we take the cross section of the root or stem, so outermost is epidermis, inner to epidermis, 3 or more number of layers of cells forms the cortex. The innermost layer of the cortex becomes the endodermis, and pericycle lies inner to the endodermis, and pith present in the center. The next system is called as vascular tissue system. It consists of xylem and phloem. They are present in the forms of bundles and called as vascular bundles. There are 3 different types of vascular bundles. The first one is called as radial. Radial system, where the xylem and the phloem will be present in the different radius of the root. For example, if this is the xylem, phloem will be present in the next radius. This type of distribution is present in roots. The next type of the vascular bundle is called conjoint, where the vascular tissue, both xylem and phloem, will be present in the same radius. So xylem, phloem, like this in the same radius, if they are lying, we call it as conjoint. This conjoint type of vascular bundle can be classified into collateral and bicollateral. Collateral is nothing but when the xylem is in the center, towards the center, and phloem towards the periphery. So like this. So xylem here and phloem here. If it is present in this way, we call it as collateral. What is bicollateral? When phloem is present on both the sides of the xylem. So xylem in the center, phloem present on both the sides of the xylem, we call it as bicollateral. The collateral can be again classified into open and closed. When the xylem and phloem are separated by cambium, then we call the vascular bundle as open type. So when it is separated by the presence of the cambium in the center, we call it as open, and this type of vascular bundles are present in dicot stem. When this cambium is absent and they are just lying one after the other, we call it as closed. When the cambium is absent, we call it as closed, and this type of vascular bundle is present in monocot stem. The third type of vascular bundle is called as concentric bundles. We know what is concentric circles. So we call circle inside another circle, we call it as concentric circle. So this type of distribution of the vascular tissue, we call it as concentric bundles. Here when the xylem in the center, if it is surrounded by the phloem completely outside, we call it as concentric bundles. And this is again classified into 2 types. The first one is called as amphivasal, where the xylem lies towards the periphery. When the xylem is outside and phloem inside, we call it as amphivasal, and when the phloem is outside and xylem is inside, we call it as amphicribal. Amphivasal type of vascular bundle is present in Dracaena, example, and amphicribal present in plants like ferns. What is exarch and endarch type of vascular bundle? It deals with the xylem, presence of xylem. So protoxylem and metaxylem. What is protoxylem? The first formed xylems are called as protoxylem. The later formed xylem vessels are called as metaxylem. When the protoxylem is facing towards the center, when it is facing towards the center, we call it as endarch. When the protoxylem is towards the center, we call it as endarch, and the protoxylem when it is facing towards the periphery, we call it as exarch. So exarch is present in roots and endarch type of xylem is present in stem. The internal structure of dicot root. Bean plant is a dicot plant, and root of the bean plant structure we are going to learn. So when you take the cross section of the bean plant, we can see the following structures. The first one is outermost, the epiblemma. The epiblemma is present in the outermost layer of the root. So it consists of root hairs. Root hairs are unicellular and they are present in the outermost layer, which is called as epiblemma, and it is otherwise called as rhizodermis because they are present under the soil, and so it is called rhizodermis, and piliferous layer because they have many unicellular root hairs to absorb the water and minerals. So cuticle and stomata are absent in the case of rhizodermis because they are present under the soil. There is no need of cuticle to check the transpiration as well as stomata for exchange of gases. Next layer inner to the epiblemma or rhizodermis is called as cortex. Cortex is multi-layered. Many layers of cells which are parenchymatous cells, and the wall of the cell will be very thin walled with large intercellular space will be present, and these cells are meant for storing food and water. So this is the second layer, which is called cortex, which is inner to the epidermis. In between the endodermis and epidermis present lies the multi-layered parenchymatous cortex. Inner to the innermost layer of the cortex is called as endodermis. So endodermis cells will have the shape of barrel. You know the shape of the barrel? The barrel shaped cells, there is no intercellular space in the endodermis. They are closely packed. And there is something special about the endodermis cell is that there is thickening of the wall. The inner radial wall and inner tangential wall will be thickened by the accumulation of the substance called suberin, and this is called as Casparian strips. This Casparian strips helps in directing the water and the dissolved salt from the cortex region into the xylem. This endodermis will have in between the cells of the endodermis, which are just opposite to the protoxylem. They do not possess this suberin substance. Suberin substance gives waterproof. They will not absorb water, and so they are not present in the cells which are opposite to the protoxylem, and these cells are called as passage cells. The water which is absorbed from the soil will be directed through this passage cell to the protoxylem for the conduction of water to the whole plant body. The next layer is called as stele. Stele consists of pericycle, vascular bundle and pith. Pericycle is the next layer inner to the endodermis. So it is a continuous layer. Secondary roots arise from the pericycle layer. Inner to the pericycle layer is vascular bundle. So vascular bundle in the dicot root will be radial. You know what is radial? The xylem and phloem will be present in the different radii of the stele of the root. Exarch. What do you mean by exarch? When the protoxylem present towards the periphery, we call the condition as exarch. Tetrarch. What do you mean by tetrarch? There are 4 sets of xylem vessels. We call this condition as tetrarch. And conjunctive tissue is present in between the phloem and xylem. So this is the phloem. Here lies the phloem. In between the xylem and phloem, some cells, we call it as, they connect both the xylem and phloem. They fill the space in between the phloem and xylem. We call this as conjunctive tissue, and that is made up of parenchyma. Pith is present in the center. It is present only in the younger roots. When if you are thorough with the internal structure of dicot root, it is very easy to learn the internal structure of monocot root. Monocot root example, maize. Maize plant root cross section we are going to learn. Shall we recall the notes for internal structure of dicot root? That becomes the answer for monocot root. Epiblemma. It is otherwise called as rhizodermis. So root hairs are present. Cuticle and stomata are absent. It is single outermost layer. The next layer inner to that is cortex, which is multi-layered, made up of parenchymatous cells with large number of intercellular spaces. They help in the storage of food and water. The innermost layer of the cortex is called endodermis. So endodermis consists of barrel-shaped cells, which is continuous without any intercellular space, and it contains Casperarian strip, which is made up of suberin that to direct the water from the epidermis to vascular tissue. The fourth layer is called stele. Stele consists of pericycle, vascular bundle, pith. Pericycle is also single layer which is lying inner to the endodermis. So lateral roots will arise from the pericycle. Inner to pericycle we are having vascular bundle. Here presents xylem and phloem in the radial manner, radial arrangement. XR condition, that is protoxylem towards the periphery, and polyarch. The main difference between the dicot and monocot is there it is tetrarch, only 4 sets of xylem. Here it is polyarch condition. Then conjunctive tissue is present in between the xylem and phloem. So in the dicot root it is made up of parenchymatous tissue, whereas in the monocot root the conjunctive tissue is made up of sclerenchyma. Pith is present. So pith was present only in the young roots of dicot, whereas pith is present in the monocot. So monocot plants are short-lived. Pith will be present throughout their lifetime. Pith will contain parenchyma cells with space in between them, and they store abundant starch grains. Differences between the internal structure of monocot root and dicot root. First one, number of xylem. So number of xylem in dicot would be only 4 sets. So 4 xylem and 4 phloem. Whereas in the monocot root it is polyarch condition. So many xylem vessels as well as many sets of phloem. So the number of xylem in dicot is tetrarch, in monocot it is polyarch. Cambium. Cambium is present in the dicot only, and it is also seen only during the secondary thickening. Dicot roots are perennials, they live for many years. So during their lifetime, widening of the stem will be taking place. The width of the stem will be increasing by the accumulation of more number of cells in the secondary thickening. And during that time, cambium will be formed. It is present in the dicot root, whereas it is absent in the monocot root. Secondary growth is present in dicot root and it is absent in monocot root. Pith is also absent in the case of dicot. They are present only in the young roots and they are absent when they mature. Whereas pith will be present in the monocot root. And one more difference you can add, that is conjunctive tissue of dicot root will be made up of parenchymatous cells, whereas monocot root is made up of sclerenchymatous cells. That's all children. Thank you.